The most iconic couples from the 1970s in Hollywood. In the 1970s, Hollywood was a very different place than it is today. The industry was much smaller and there were far fewer big-budget films being made. However, there were still a number of iconic couples who graced the silver screen during this decade. Some of these couples were together for just a few years, while others remained married until their untimely deaths. Here are some of the most iconic couples from the 1970s in Hollywood. Number 1. Farrah Fawcett and Ryan O'Neal. Farrah Fawcett and Ryan O'Neal were one of the most popular couples of the 1970s. They met on the set of the film Love Story in 1968, and their relationship quickly became a Hollywood scandal. The two were constantly in the tabloids, and their every move was watched by the public. Fawcett and O'Neal had one child together, Redmond O'Neal, who was born in 1985. The couple eventually divorced in 1997 after 29 years together. Number 2. Jane Fonda and Tom Hayden. Jane Fonda and Tom Hayden were another iconic couple from the 1970s. The two were married in 1973 to 1990 and had one child together, Vanessa Vadim. Fonda and Hayden were both very active in the political scene and were constantly in the news. They were also both very successful in their respective careers, with Fonda winning an Oscar for her role in Coming Home and Hayden serving as a California state senator. Number 3. Cher and Sonny Bono. Cher and Sonny Bono were one of the most famous couples from the 1970s. The two met in 1962 when Cher was just 16 years old and Sonny was 26. They married in 1964 and had one child together, Chastity Bono. The couple eventually divorced in 1974 but remained close friends until Sonny's untimely death in 1998. Number 4. Diana Ross and Robert Ellis Silverstein. Diana Ross and Robert Ellis Silverstein were another iconic couple from the 1970s. Ross met Silverstein, a music executive, in 1971, and the two quickly fell in love. They married in 1977 and had two children together, Tracy Ellis Ross and Chudney Ross. The couple eventually divorced in 2000 after 23 years together. Number 5. Farrah Fawcett and Lee Majors. Farrah Fawcett and Lee Majors were yet another popular Hollywood couple from the 1970s. The two met on the set of the television show The $6 Million Man in 1974, and they were married just a year later. The couple had one child together who was born in 1976. The couple eventually divorced in 1982 but remained close friends until Fawcett's untimely death in 2009. Number 6. Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell were one of the most beloved Hollywood couples of the 1970s. The two met on the set of the film The One and Only Genuine Original Family Band in 1968, and they began dating shortly thereafter. The couple's been together ever since, and they have 3 children together, Wyatt Russell, Boston Russell, and Oliver Hudson. Number 7. Ali MacGraw and Steve McQueen. Ali MacGraw and Steve McQueen were another iconic Hollywood couple from the 1970s. The two met on the set of the film The Getaway in 1972, and their relationship quickly became a Hollywood scandal. The couple was married for just 2 years before divorcing in 1978. However, their relationship was immortalized in the classic film Love Story, which was released in 1970. Number 8. Burt Reynolds and Lonnie Anderson. Burt Reynolds and Lonnie Anderson were yet another popular Hollywood couple from the 1970s. The two met on the set of the television show WKRP in Cincinnati in 1978, and they were married for just a year later. The couple had one child together, Quentin Anderson Reynolds, who was born in 1988. The couple eventually divorced in 1993 after 15 years of marriage. Number 9. John Travolta and Diahnne Hyland. John Travolta and Diahnne Hyland were another iconic couple from the 1970s. The two met on the set of the film Boy in the Plastic Bubble in 1976, and they were married just a year later. Tragically, Hyland died of breast cancer in 1977, just 4 months after they got married. Travolta was devastated by her death and has since said that she was the love of his life. Number 10. Warren Beatty and Annette Bening. Warren Beatty and Annette Bening are yet another iconic Hollywood couple from the 1970s. The two met on the set of the film Bugsy in 1991, and they were married just a year later. The couple has 4 children together, Catherine Elizabeth, Benjamin Mackenzie, Isabel Ira, and Ella Corinne. All 4 of their children were born within a 5-year span from 1992 to 1997. Number 11. Jane Fonda and Tom Hayden. Jane Fonda and Tom Hayden were another prominent Hollywood couple from the 1970s. They met in 1962 at a civil rights rally, and they were married just a year later. The couple had one child together, Vanessa Vadim, who was born in 1968. The couple eventually divorced in 1990 after 28 years of marriage. However, they remained close friends until Hayden's death in 2016. Number 12. Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward. Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward were yet another iconic Hollywood couple from the 70s. The two met on the set of the film The Long Hot Summer in 1958, and they were married just a year later. The couple had 3 children together, Eleanor Teresa, Melissa Stewart, and Claire Elizabeth. The couple remained married until Newman's death in 2008. Number 13. James Brolin and Jane Cameron Agee. James Brolin and Jane Cameron Agee were yet another prominent Hollywood couple from the 70s. The two met on the set of the film The Cape Town Affair in 1967, and they were married just a year later. The couple had 2 children together, Jess and Josh. Tragically, Agee died in a car accident in 1981, just 4 years after their marriage. Brolin was devastated by her death and said that she was the love of his life. Number 14. Robert Redford and Lola Van Wagenen. Robert Redford and Lola Van Wagenen were another iconic Hollywood couple from the 1970s. The two met at Occidental College in 1954, and they were married just a year later. The couple had 4 children together, Amy, James, Shauna, and Scott. The couple eventually divorced in 1985 after 31 years of marriage. However, they remain close friends to this day. 15. Robert De Niro and Diahnne Abbott. Robert De Niro and Diahnne Abbott were another well-known Hollywood couple from the 70s. The two met on the set of the film Taxi Driver in 1976, and they were married just a year later. The couple had 2 children together, Raphael and Drina. The couple eventually divorced in 1988 after 12 years of marriage. Number 16. Jack Nicholson and Angelica Houston. Jack Nicholson and Angelica Houston were yet another iconic Hollywood couple from the 70s. The two met on the set of the film The Dead in 1974, and they were married just a year after that. The couple had 1 child together, Dylan Thomas. However, the couple eventually divorced in 1990 after 16 years of marriage. Number 17. Ryan O'Neal and Farrah Fawcett. Ryan O'Neal and Farrah Fawcett were another well-known Hollywood couple from the 70s. The two met on the set of the film Love Story in 1968, and they were married just a year later. The couple had 1 child together, Redmond James Fawcett O'Neal. However, the couple eventually divorced in 1997 after 29 years of marriage. Number 18. Burt Reynolds and Lonnie Anderson. Burt Reynolds and Lonnie Anderson were yet another iconic Hollywood couple from the 1970s. The two met on the set of the film Smokey and the Bandit in 1977, and they were married just a year later. The couple had 1 child together, Quentin Anderson Reynolds. However, the couple eventually divorced in 1993 after 16 years of marriage. 19. Chevy Chase and Jayni Luke. Chevy Chase and Jayni Luke were another well-known Hollywood couple from the 70s. The two met in 1968, and they were married a year after that. The couple had 3 children together, Sydney Kathleen, Kaylee Lee, and Charles Parker. However, the couple eventually divorced in 1976 after 8 years of marriage. Number 20. Warren Beatty and Annette Bening. Warren Beatty and Annette Bening were yet another well-known Hollywood couple from the 70s. The two met on the set of the film Bugsy in 1991, and they were married just a year later. The couple has 4 children together, Kathleen Elizabeth, Benjamin Mackenzie, Isabel Ira, and Ella Corinne. The couple is still married to this day. Number 21. James Caan and Linda Stokes. James Caan and Linda Stokes were another iconic Hollywood couple from the 1970s. The two met in 1966, and they were married just a year later. The couple had 2 children together, Scott Andrew and Tara Can. However, the couple eventually divorced in 1977 after 11 years of marriage. Number 22. Michael Douglas and Diandra Luker. Michael Douglas and Diandra Luker were yet another well-known Hollywood couple from the 1970s. The two met in 1977, and they were married just a year after that. The couple had 1 child together, Dylan Michael. However, the couple eventually divorced in 1995 after 18 years of marriage. Number 23. Al Pacino and Beverly D'Angelo. Al Pacino and Beverly D'Angelo were yet another iconic Hollywood couple from the 1970s. The two met on the set of the film Cruising in 1980, and they were married just a year later. The couple had twins together, Olivia Rose and Anton James. However, the couple eventually divorced in 1989 after 9 years of marriage. 24. Jon Voight and Marcheline Bertrand. Jon Voight and Marcheline Bertrand were another well-known Hollywood couple from the 70s. The two met on the set of the film Midnight Cowboy in 1969, and they were married just a year later. The couple had 2 children together, James Hayden and Angelina Jolie. However, the couple eventually divorced in 1980 after 11 years of marriage. Number 25. Tom Selleck and Jillie Mack. Tom Selleck and Jillie Mack were another well-known Hollywood couple from the 70s. The two met in 1971 and they were married just a year later. The couple had 1 child together, Kevin Selleck. However, the couple eventually divorced in 1982 after 11 years of marriage.